Hello everyone, it's DEDMan Gaming back with another episode of Expectations of an Avid Gamer, and holy shit, it's been a while since I've done one of these. The last one was my Last of Us 2 one, which was published on June 13th of 2020. So yeah, it's been a while. The reason being is, 2020, and there really wasn't that many new games that came out in the latter half of last year that I was super excited about. I do have a couple planned for this year. I was going to do one over Outriders, but I haven't really played it all that much because my artist and I, who's, the person I play it with, we've been working on doing other stuff separately, just doing whatever. So I'm not doing one over Outriders because I haven't played it much, and I kind of feel like I lost my window for that. But this episode, as you can see by the title, even though it's taken me a while to get here, is Resident Evil 8. So really my only expectation, I am kind of hoping that it's going to be very similar to 7, but improving upon it. So I have played the demo. As I'm currently recording this line, I missed out on playing the village demo because I didn't know it was timed, so I missed out on the village part, but I did play the castle demo. At the time I'm recording this, it was a few days ago, and it's actually giving me a Resident Evil 4 vibe, what with the currency and the merchant, who is not the merchant from 4, unless he has just put on a fuck ton of weight. I think he called him the Duke, so I'm pretty sure he's not the same guy. I mean, I seriously doubt it. It just would be kind of funny if it was, but he, I don't know, fell off the wagon, and he is fatter than holy hell. I was playing it and chatting with my artist, Scott, and we were both like, how the fuck did he even get in there? To be honest, does he have a secret trap door underneath him and they just wheeled him in, or what? But anyway, I'm rambling on too much about the merchant. So you can pick up money, you can actually buy ammo. I thought that was kind of weird. I can't imagine if it's in the demo and it's this close out, I don't think they're going to remove it. To me, it just feels kind of weird to buy ammo in a Resident Evil game. Really, any survival horror. I mean, I know in Dead Space you can, but usually it's so copious that you don't ever have to buy any. It's a little strange. We'll see how it ends up working out. I would much rather still just find the stuff to craft my ammo and have to conserve it, or since, enemies are dropping loot and stuff, just like Resident Evil 4, I would like to just pick up the ammo off of them. Other than that, that's the only thing I really saw on there that I was just not really crazy about. Basically, it kind of looks like this is going to be Resident Evil 4, but in first person. Not to be confused with Resident Evil VR, which I am also excited to play. I just need to get the equipment or wait till it comes to PSVR. But the long and the short of it, 7 scared the absolute shit out of me, and I'm kind of hoping 8 does the same thing. Going again off of just the castle demo, it's gonna do that, because I went down into the dungeon and there were all those, whatever those end up being. I'm gonna guess, especially by this little note that I found, that they're experiments similar to anybody that came across the Baker house end up becoming molded, or in special cases Lucas's plaything. But it looks like whoever had run up on the house had been experimented on and turned into the molded. I kind of feel like that's what's gonna go on here. Now, I don't think there's been any confirmation on Lady Dimitrescu, whether she's a witch or a vampire or what, but considering the shit that I've seen in the trailers and everything else, I'm actually kind of interested to see how they're going to incorporate, the T-virus or whatever strain it's going to be this time into, oh yeah, people are fucking werewolves now. They had a pretty halfway decently explanation with the molded in 7, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see them take a more supernatural, because I'm not super well versed in the entire series, but to the best of my knowledge, this is, if this has nothing to do with Umbrella or any kind of experiment, which would be kind of dumb, this would be the first instance of actual supernatural stuff like werewolves. I imagine there's going to be a virus reason for it. I hope there is, and I can't wait to hear the dumb explanation for it. I mean, that's what I come to Resident Evil for, is cheesy action and dumb science that kind of makes sense, but it's just what, whatever, this is fucking funny, this is cool, this is interesting, whatever. That's what I come to Resident Evil for. I don't try to get too hung up on shit, because it's video games. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun. Werewolves being mutated from a virus that originally turned people into zombies. I mean, it's a little far-fetched, but it kind of would work, I think. But anyway, I have rambled on too long as it is, so I'm going to go ahead and end this segment here. I'm very excited to play it. I am actually going to play the Village demo. Again, as we're recording, it's the 27th. I'm very excited to play the Village part of the demo and then actually get into the Village, to actually get into the game. I've got it pre-ordered. I'm so ready for it. It's going to be fun. Anyway, that's going to be enough for my rambling nonsense. The expectation is going to be over here in like a couple of seconds, so hopefully future DEDMan has some good news for me. Resident Evil 8 absolutely blew me away. It was honestly astounding how much they packed into the game. You've got 5 different areas to roam through, and some very well thought out villains to beat. I am in a bit of the middle ground where I'm sad Lady Dimitrescu wasn't as big of a presence as the marketing had made her to be, but excited that there was so much more of the game than originally thought. When I first played the demo, I was getting some Resident Evil 4 vibes, and I wasn't wrong. The weapon upgrades and getting money worked just like in 4. And especially with the European setting, it's not far off. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the fabled Resident Evil 4 remake, because honestly it kind of feels like it at times. In typical Resident Evil fashion, you've got plenty of tense moments, and honestly there were more puzzles than in 7, and they were a bit more elaborate too. There's 4 of them in the game where you put a ball down a hole in a labyrinth to get a crystal skull for a treasure, which is worth a pretty penny too. As I stated before, all 5 bosses are unique from one another. I won't get into details of spoilers, but they are all fantastic. The main premise is Ethan, after settling down with Mia and their child Rose, gets attacked by Chris Redfield and Rose is abducted. You are taken by Chris and his men, but are ambushed outside the titular village. As Ethan, you are racing to find Rose and figure out why Chris killed Mia. There's a few twists in there that I was absolutely not expecting, until someone crashed my stream and spoiled the ending. Seriously, who does that? But that didn't hamper my enjoyment of the game. There were still some twists I wasn't expecting, and with the final minutes of the game, it sets up the next entry into the series. Again, no spoilers from me, but I'm definitely looking forward to the next game in the Winter's Trilogy. I thought the game was very beautiful the way that it was set out, with the different areas, as I had said before. You have the castle, a house, just, a small little house, nothing super big or fancy, a kind of swamp/lake area, and a factory, and then there's the final push. And then there's the actual village itself, which works like a hub for everything. You go from one place to the other, and you can also, solve the little puzzles after each boss from whatever items you may acquire in the boss's area, and get new weapons. All in all, the weapon variety works. The story is pretty solid for what it is. It was, a somewhat short playtime, as I completed it in one sitting, and the game said it was 7 hours, but my stream was like 9.5 hours, but that was also because it didn't count what's in the menu, and then I took some breaks too. But all in all, I had a blast. I haven't got to, sit down and beat a game all in one sitting in a long time, especially because stuff doesn't usually suck me in like that anymore. So it was really nice to be able to get to do that, and especially because I thought the game was done so well, I actually want to run through it again right now, do a second playthrough, and do some of my trophy cleanups. But this is definitely a very fun game. Most of the time with these, I do, somewhere between 5 and 10 hours to see, kind of get a handle on the game. But, I ran through this one pretty quickly and beat it fairly quickly. So I definitely, obviously had fun with it if I beat it, day one. But I definitely want to run through it again. in the near future. Definitely would like to do some trophies. I actually am interested to see if they're going to do... They didn't sell a gold edition or a season pass up front, so I'm not sure if they're actually going to add anything to it. But if they do, I definitely would be interested to see where they went, because, you know, we got Not a Hero and End of Zoe. I mean, we got the banned footage too, but those didn't add a whole lot extra to the story. It was mostly about how much it fucking sucked to be Clancy. But I would love to see more of whatever 8 has to offer. If they are going to do a DLC, they could take the ending. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything. They could take what happens at the very end and then roll with that into a DLC to help set up 9. I believe I read somewhere that they're supposed to 7, 8, and 9 are all going to be like the Winters trilogy. So I'm definitely excited to see where they're going to go with that. It's a great game, and I definitely think it was worth the day one buy. This is the first I've bought this on day one purchase that I've had in a while that I am really satisfied with how it turned out. And I would definitely recommend it, especially if you were a fan of 7. Now, this is a little bit different. It would be like the difference between Resident Evil 1, which was more slow and methodical and horror, and then I related it to Resident Evil 4 earlier because this one is more action-packed. You have, I'm wanting to say, in the Baker house, you had like a handful of molded. I'm wanting to say there was really not that many in the main house. I mean, the mines are a little bit different because there was a little bit of a horde there, but there wasn't really that many molded in the game, whereas in here there's a bunch of lichens rolling around and a bunch of witches, like especially in the castle, or ghouls, or whatever you want to call them. There's a bunch of them. There's actually one area, one of those areas that I mentioned, that actually has like a horde of them basically coming at you. So yeah, it's definitely more action-packed and more action-focused, but I really liked how the game looked and how it felt and how it ran, and just everything about it I thought was good. I'm a fan of the third-person Resident Evils, especially 2 and 3 make, and 4. That over-the-shoulder style, I really do like that, but I'm definitely digging this first-person. It definitely gives you a more intimate feel on the horror that you wouldn't necessarily get in any of the over-the-shoulders. I mean, yeah, there's still plenty of terrifying moments in there, but it's a definite difference being third person and being, the camera that's falling behind him, as to actually feeling like you're in the shoes of Ethan while you're playing. But that's going to be it for this one. I've rambled on long enough. Thank you so much for watching, and try not to die out there.
It happened so long ago. I don't understand why you are so...
Mia, get down! Mia! Mia, oh God! Chris? What the hell?
Sorry, Ethan.
No! What? Why?